Hi, everybody. This is Grushenka Talks Films. This is my top 5 for October 2024, part of our Criterion movie marathon. We've seen 269 movies so far this year and counting. Take it away. My number 5 is The Haunted Strangler 1958. This is such a showcase of Boris Karloff's incredible talent. He is a number of different characters in this movie, and it's actually a remarkably sophisticated film about memory, about psychiatric disorders, and about second chances. There's so much going on in this film, and it takes you places you're not going to expect. It is by no means a by-the-numbers thriller, killer, monster pick. It's got a lot of psychological depth, some astounding performances, again from Karloff. He is such a great actor, and you should never forget that, especially after watching this film. You'll be convinced he's the most remarkable performer. It's scary. It's got some surprises you're not going to expect. I don't want to give anything away. The trailer gives away a little too much, so if you don't want spoilers, don't check out the trailer upcoming. But it is a great, 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 great film. The Haunted Strangler, 1958.
Was a man so gentle and kindly that the sight of cruelty and violence cut him like a whip. Transformed in one fantastic night into the graveyard ghoul whose claws were clenched with the wild, uncontrollable urge to kill.
Now, Hannah, who was it you saw?
It was too dark to see properly. He was more like a beast than a human being.
A man with the appetites of a monster. All human passions twisted by the same strange obsession that turned his face into a hideous mask of cruelty.
It was the same man, the very same man. I tell you that if you brought me face to face with him now. It was the Haymarket Strangler.
Body and soul, torn by the battle between good and evil, running amok in a reign of terror that paralyzed a city with fright.
This film is pure Gothic atmosphere. It's the Carnival of Souls 1962. And there's actually a really fascinating backstory around this film. It was created by an industrial production company that was much more known for corporate how-to videos and worker rules and regulations. And what's really fun about it, knowing that backstory, is a bunch of the actors have really stentorian announcer voices. So it's almost like they're pulling on that same stable of talent for this production, but it's a ghost story. And it's got some really, really cool landscape environmental choices, including this big old, what it looks to be abandoned carnival agricultural pavilion, apparently that was filmed just outside of Lawrence, Kansas, where the Retro Cocktail Hour by NPR and Dale Brogdon do that great radio show, and it's actually how my partner found out about this movie. It's a fantastic film. It is a ghost story, but it's also incisive social commentary. The main character, Mary Henry, played by the fantastic Candice Hilligoss, is trying to navigate her way through the world as a church organist. And it does deal with some really interesting themes about women, what women need to do to survive, how difficult it can be to be on your own. I know that feeling very well, going into a strange town and not knowing anyone. And she is a sort of frosty, aloof person just trying to make a living and survive. And it's also a ghost story with some fantastic, surreal, paranormal experiences throughout. It is such an interesting and fun film in the sense that it is just creepy, gothic, Halloween horror. You can imagine it being just projected up on a screen, as almost a silent movie. It's a really, really good film, and it's one that we're really grateful for, such that, again, I created a top 3 for Halloween on the Criterion collection, and this is among my choices. Do check that out. There's a lot in this film, and like I said, the soundtrack is amazing. Her organ playing is amazing. Please watch Carnival of Souls 1962.
Hey, you want to drive, huh? Rev it up.
Action you've never seen races across your screen as you thrill to a new dimension in picture making. Carnival of Souls. This is the shocking story of a who crawled from the river to race through a nightmare, walking a tightrope between heaven and hell. From the unreal, she crashes through to reality. But try as she will to lead a normal life, she is torn from her goal. There's no privacy in a life she's ever watched, tormented. Either it's her neighbor, desirous of her physically, watching her with his leering eye, or it's the evil eye of the man who taunts her, the man who wants her. From the bottom of the river they come. They reach for her. They demand that she dance with them at the Carnival of Souls. She is a girl-driven man by the relentless forces of the beyond. He will not relent as he comes for her again and again. She whirls between the real and the unreal, trying to cling to life.
I like being with you, really I do. I don't want to be alone tonight. I want to be near you.
Honey, you don't want to go in there all by yourself, do you?
But she must watch herself in death. She must dance at the Carnival of Souls held just for her. For they have come for her for the last time, claiming her as one of their own. Carnival of Souls arouses such emotion that the management has been forced to state positively no refunds. Carnival of Souls is the shocker of all time, guaranteed to sweep you into a new dimension of picture making.
My number 3 is The Living Skeleton, 1968, by Hiroshi Matsuno. This is a fantastic film. It's a ghost story. It's creepy. It has sweeted special effects that are adorable, but very effective. It is gothic. There are a lot of twists and turns. There are homemade, fascinating-looking skeletons. It feels fun and also very serious because it deals with the topic of deep injustice and shame about criminal and wartime behavior. It has a floating ghost ship. There is the undead, and it's explored here. There is betrayal, and there's a twist you won't see coming. It's quite fascinating. It's a really effective film, just dripping with fog and nautical, maritime atmosphere. It is surprising, and there are scenes in it you will have not seen committed to film. I can't say enough good things about this movie, The Living Skeleton, 1968.
誰だ？西郷さん。
好きよ。好きだったわ。抱いて。
My partner had done some reading and research and discovered that the Phantom Carriage was something that had inspired a number of filmmakers. And I wanted to make things extra creepy for October, so I had bought a cheap projector and a very, very cheap pinned-on movie screen. I took that movie screen and put it up on my wall in my living room, and we were able to have sort of half of the screening on the wall until we realized it wasn't particularly sustainable. Then we just started watching it on TV. But I love projectors, and I love creepy ghost stories, and I love spirit photography from the mid-19th century. And this film has all of those things, plus a moral tale that happens around Christmas. So it's actually a Christmas story. And it talks about what disease outbreaks do to communities, what selfishness and individualism can do to families and to groups of people. And it takes place in Sweden, and it's centered around a character, David Holm, who has tuberculosis and is trying to be helped by Sister Edith, who is trying to help him as sort of a lost case and help him and his family and his wife. And because she takes no precautions herself without giving anything away too much in helping him, she herself is compromised. It's a fascinating film. The photography, the ideas in the film, you'll see as you watch it how Kubrick and Ingmar Bergman were inspired by this film, because some of the sequences are basically lifted from this film and taken into theirs. There's some really cool ideas, and it's a silent film, but it's, again, dripping with atmosphere, a fascinating document, and is so beautifully restored in the Criterion collection. We're lucky to have this film. It is the kind of film you want to watch at Halloween, because as a silent film, it just makes you feel all sorts of emotions, and it keeps you riveted absolutely until the end. The Phantom Carriage, 1921. This is a fantastic film. My number one, Devil's Backbone, 2001. It's directed by Guillermo del Toro, and I am a Guillermo del Toro fangirl. And this is not only a great war story, a great ghost story, a great monster movie, as only Guillermo del Toro can do, but it's also a great look at war through the eyes of a child. In this case, Carlos, who has been orphaned, except no one has the courage to tell him that, and he's being sent, as it's been positioned in the movie, temporarily to an orphanage, and it's seen through his eyes, and it's a fantastic, paranormal, real-life, grittily real look at what a society in upheaval looks like, and sounds like, and feels like, and the compromises that people make in terms of their morality and their choices. And it's so powerful, and it feels like a very important document for the times that we are all currently living through in the world, a time of upheaval, of institutions crumbling, of people's moral compass eroding and disappearing. And it feels like an important document for the times we're about to live through and the kind of choices we are going to be asked to make. This is a powerful, powerful document, a fantastic movie, just dripping with atmosphere. And I think it is one of the most powerful war movies. It should be assigned in schools, I think. Guillermo del Toro, I love you. This is a fantastic film. I love all of his films, and I was actually privileged enough to go and even eat from his menu at the Ontario Art Gallery, the AGO. And he's got great taste in food too. So, wonderful, wonderful film. Highly recommend Guillermo del Toro's The Devil's Backbone. Here are my top 5 for October 2024. The Haunted Strangler, Carnival of Souls, The Living Skeleton, The Phantom Carriage, and The Devil's Backbone. Thanks so much for listening to my October top 5 of my Criterion Movie Marathon. Next up, November 2024. Stay tuned. If you like this video, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, share it with a friend. I really appreciate you listening. Thank you so much.